Hey guys, how's it going? I got Zach Larson here. He's a local from Iowa. We were just going to get on here and pretty much go over some shed hunting tactics for new hunters and just the success we've had over the years of finding sheds. We just got done talking right before we turned this on about people sliding up on our stories asking us where we're finding them and how we're finding them. And I'll let Zach introduce himself.
I'm Zach. I'm from the local area here, Fort Dodge area. I've been hunting this area since I was about probably 12, I think. So I've kind of got a little bit of years of experience under my belt. As far as shed hunting goes, this is probably the third year I've really ever been serious about it. And the last couple of years has pretty much been just getting full tonnage of antlers and kind of surveying, in my own opinion, of where sheds are and where sheds aren't to kind of narrow down where you want to spend your time looking. So, where are your top spots you look, Kyle?
More or less for lands that I know, bedding areas. Bedding areas are key. If you don't know a land, the best way to pick up on that is right around now, because you're going to see the most trail sign, even late winter, during winter, watching them trails, going and doing some walkthroughs and figuring out them main trails usually lead you, and you can see the bedding sites obviously too, but you can usually pick up a lot around the bedding trails, like we just were talking about a little bit ago too. Them south facing hills are key because they're getting out of that north wind.
Yep. Those
cold front winds. So usually how I start off, I'll just go through what I've had some success with first, and then you can tag in whatever. But I'll start off by going around fence edges first, somewhere where they got to jump, where it's got to knock off, and then going and start following main trails. And main trails going into little thickets, coming out of the woods. For some reason, I don't know if you've had some success with this too, but like little areas right where they're coming out of the woods into the CRP, it seems like you find them right within that 5 to 10 feet of coming right out of the woods.
That's their staging area.
Yeah.
A lot of times, they'll come out and they'll hang out right on those edges. Deer love edges. They're secure. They have bedded in this area all day long. They know it's safe there. They're going to keep their back to that, and they're going to scan out in front. So they could spend, anywhere from half hour to an hour hanging out on the edge, just making sure that the areas that they're going to go to are safe.
Yeah. No, that's a great explanation on it. Trying to think. I mean, that's a majority of mine. As I start on fence lines, I'm finding main trails. A lot of the lands that I'm shed hunting on, though, are lands that I've been around. I'm sure you're the same way. You've been around 10 plus years. You know where they're bedding. You know where you found them previous years. Obviously, you'll find some in random spots. I mean, deer that have gotten spooked, ran across the field during burns. There's nothing really you can do in tall CRP. It's pretty much when you burn, or if you're walking a main trail and you happen to see something. Trying to think.
A lot of people want to get in the first time. Like, for the first time, they always want to get in early, like that last week of January, first week of February. You almost say, well, it's a little too early, but I want to get out and find an antler. I would suggest, if you were to do something like that, stick to your fringes. Like you said, your fences, any fence crossings, just stick to the fringes. Possibly around food in the middle of the day. They're not going to be out in the food in the middle of the day. So areas like that.
Do you personally set shed traps? I know there's a lot of people that set up shed traps. Some people have success with them. I've never had success.
I haven't. The stuff I've read about them can be bad.
Getting caught up in them and stuff.
Yep, and injuring pedicles and things like that. So I've never ran them. I guess my tactic of what I'd call a shed trap essentially is standing food, in the winter months. A lot of times the deer are going to spend a majority of their day feeding, and especially when it's super, super cold. If you got standing corn, it's very forgiving. They're not going to get tangled up in it. But when they got their head down in the standing corn, it's pretty probable that they're going to knock an antler off a time or two.
Yeah. When you when you go up to one of your lands, for some of the ones that are newer, and they're like, well, I don't even know where to start. If you were to walk up to a piece of land, I don't know, let's do a hypothetical. You were to go to Whitetail Ridge out in Clare. You know where that is roughly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've ever shed hunted it.
Nope.
Where would you start at Whitetail Ridge, or how would you approach that?
I'd probably start at looking at aerial views.
Okay.
My first thing I will go to on every property is grass.
Right.
If it's a chance I'm going to bump deer out of there, I'm obviously going to wait till later February, somewhere in there, that 3rd to 4th week of February, and I'll go into grass areas. Grass is, in my opinion, the absolute best, right up there with cedars, any conifer tree, just because it holds heat in the wintertime. The sun's beating down on it all day. It's always above the snow. It always provides heat, just like, cattle would love to lay in hay over laying in the snow, so they're going to lay in that grass.
Right.
So a lot of your sheds are going to be there. I can't stress enough everybody that asks me, where's the best places to look? Look for conifers, look for grass. And in the winter months when they're dropping antlers, that's where you need to be looking, especially. So that's my first place I'd go to. Next is probably south and west facing slopes. Everybody talks about south facing slopes, but west facing slopes are definitely underlooked because your west slopes, you're getting the evening sun, the warmest sun of the day. So a lot of times if it's a really cold day, the deer are going to migrate to those west facing slopes towards the end of the day because maybe the south facing slope has a little more shade on it or something, or maybe it's a little thicker. So definitely I think west facing slopes are definitely underlooked because of that west sun it's definitely keeping them on the west slopes. So I guess next spot I'd probably go is probably food to bedding trails.
That's a huge one.
It's
probably your most common place.
Most common, probably. Yep. But pretty much, if you're not on the right trail, you're probably not going to be finding antlers. You just got to put miles on at that point. When you get into bedding areas and trails, you just got to pick a trail and walk, especially thick stuff. Pretty easy to walk.
And usually, as soon as that snow's off, if you can't find a trail, then you ain't got no deer around.
Exactly.
Because they're they're imprinted like a highway.
Yeah.
So it's not too hard to get on them and start following them. Trying to think any other pointers.
Ooh, another good point is I struggle looking in the middle of the day. When the sun is at its peak and it's the brightest. Best time to go is when it's shady because those antlers pop when it's really bright out and glaring on everything, especially if you're walking through grass or if you're walking through corn or anything. Everything looks like an antler. Everything looks like an antler when it's sunny out. So it makes it tough to see anything and make out a difference in what an antler is when it's sunny out. So those wet, rainy, or cloudy days are a huge benefit to finding antlers.
For sure. I would say 75% of the days were overcast when I found a majority of the ones that you actually had them good days.
Yep.
On the sunny ones where there's it's partly cloudy, there's been times where I've walked right by an area and then I walked by it again and I'm like, why did I just walk right by it? It was a simple fact. It was probably a difference between being sunny and shady.
Yep.
Another thing is, too, that I've had people slide up and ask is, how do you find so many matching sets?
No, I don't have much to say for that.
Yeah,
because
there's nothing you can really say about that. That's just
luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw for sure. You can't determine when the deer are going to drop both. But
I used to say a mature buck is going to drop within 100 yards. Well, this year has pretty much proved that wrong. Every matching set, one of the last permission farms that we walked, the first antler I found matched the last antler we found, and we were complete opposite ends of the property.
Really?
Yeah, so that's That's a
Which I see the philosophy there because, I mean, they're heavier antlers. So if they're ready to fall, they're more likely to fall on a mature antler or a mature deer because the antlers are heavier, where a littler one, not so much.
Yep.
Huh.
And I don't know. A lot of people kind of overlook small properties too, but think a lot of small properties don't get hunted and they don't have a whole lot of pressure. So if you think towards the end of the seasons, a lot of these properties around here are gun hunted really heavily. You're going to push all those deer out to those smaller areas, those 4 to 20 acres, and deer can be piled in those, and I've seen it. On one of my permission farms south of here, we actually found a matching set off the deer we call Heavy 9 that Ronnie was hunting all year. He got shot twice this year and dropped his antlers on, I believe it was January 8th. He came out and...
probably because of the injury.
Yep, because of the injury. And he dropped his antlers January 8th, and he came out. We were hunting him that day, and he came out with no antlers. We could tell it was him because he had a very distinctive white-gray face. But
that's one people get confused about is how you identify. But when you watch them so much, it's just
when you literally stare at them all
one
day
little
long.
Nick on their face just throws them off.
Yep.
But some people are amazed by that. They're like, "What in the world? How do you know that's that deer?" Oh, because trust me, when you turn into a whitetail freak, that you're blessed with that. So.
Yep. Yeah, we ended up getting some boots on the ground, and we found that permission farm that I have permission on is total 4 acres. That's all it is.
Really?
And we found that match set on that 4 acres.
On the 4 acres?
Yep. Right in the food plot. That post that I had posted about doing food plot work, that big purple top turnip that Ronnie was holding up, it was found right on the edge of that food plot. So,
you guys all just went on a shed hunt recently, right? You had Brayton and
me,
Brayton,
Ronnie, and Brian. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you guys had a good day because Brayton put a video up on his YouTube, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. He just put that on a couple days ago. We did great. I can't remember what we ended up with. I want to say it was right around 20, I think, something like that. And actually kind of a slow year for that property. Last year we found 30 or something like that.
You had a couple big giants that are going to be monsters next year.
Unfortunately, we don't even get to hunt that.
Oh, really?
Nope.
It's just a shed hunt property?
Just a shed hunt. That's pretty cool.
Man. Well, I mean, that's how you work your way in. I mean, that's another thing.
Yep.
Trying to get private property, for those who are trying to get private property, you work your way in the little stuff. Turkey hunting, shed hunting, mushroom hunting.
Exactly.
Helping them out wherever they, if they need any help on the farm, little stuff like that to get into actually deer hunt. I mean, it's
all about building a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's overlooked too is terraces. That is one thing I never go out and check. And mainly because most of the terraces, I don't want to disrespect the farmer and just drive all over it. And it's kind of that, I mean, sometimes you'll get them days where it freezes over, but half the time it's muddy.
Yep.
And I don't want to drive out there. I mean, I should walk out there, but I got pretty much a broken back this year. So I'll use that as an excuse this year. But no, I think terraces are overlooked. I think, depending on where the terrace is, what wind, all that jazz. But I think I've seen a lot of people post pictures of finding shed antlers on terraces. Yeah. You can tell they just pulled off the terraces.
Yep. I haven't had luck on terraces, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I think the majority of the terraces I walk are too far away from any closer cover. So
right.
That's probably
it just depends on landscape, I guess.
Yep.
Can you think of anything else? I mean, the main thing is just getting out there and walking, finding the main trails, learning your lands. I've said that in previous podcasts. I mean, that goes for stand placement. That goes for set and stand placement on certain winds is you have to learn your land. If you don't learn that's the key to any successful hunt. And honestly, shed hunting is a big part of it too, because you start finding sheds and you start finding them in repeated years, it's going to tell you where they're bedding.
Exactly.
So it's all part of the process. So skipping out on shed hunting, all you're doing is losing out on gaining a little more knowledge on your land. So just getting out there, finding the trails, and start learning it. And I tell you what, the reward of finding a shed is great. Sometimes you get in them days. I mean, I'm sure you've had them too. It's like I've gone 3, 4, 5 days and I haven't found a dang shed. And I'm like, all right, what the hell's going on here?
Yep.
And you want to give up. And then all of a sudden there's just that one shed and it's like, boom, usually it's glorious. And it's just standing out in the middle of nowhere. And you're like, oh, all right, I can walk another 5 miles.
That's right. Yep. So. Yeah. And I will say probably my biggest thing I've noticed, if you own a farm or if you have permission to leave corn or standing beans or anything standing as far as row crop, and you have that late season food, there's going to be antlers there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
for sure.
I want to give an example. This year, my birthday was on January 30th. I told my fiance, I said, all I want to do for my birthday is just go out and put some miles on the home farm and see what we see. So this was on January 30th. I found 7 sheds that day. And they were all in the corn.
Really?
All of them. Yep. So
yeah, standing corn's
mind blown to even see that many hanging out in the corn. And the coolest part is one of them was a deer that I've never seen before, but I have 2 years of sheds off of him. And
don't have any trail camera pictures.
Not a single one. So he's gonna be a giant this year.
Might be living on a fence line somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm hoping he sticks around. Found both sides this year. Found one side last year, and found both sides this year. So they were about 500-600 yards apart. So definitely ruled out that mature bucks drop their antlers within 100 yards. So that's quite a ways.
Did you ever find that 6-pointer sheds?
Never did.
For everyone wondering, Zach and we got a piece of properties that we hunt, and they're 1.5 miles away. And coincidentally, the deer, especially during the rut, run back and forth between the properties.
Within hours.
Yeah, within hours, yeah. So, which is crazy because, I mean, if they follow the creek, that would be a long jog.
Yeah.
It's not like they're running a beeline. Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe they're just running down the gravel road straight down.
Yeah. I mean, if they follow that creek, it'd probably be 3 miles.
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes we have deer pop up and like, oh, is the 6 over there? Oh yeah, is the 6 over here? Yep, it's over here.
In January, I think,
really?
Holding both sides. Late December for sure. I'm pretty sure.
So he's alive still.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be gnarly.
You know, quick little backstory on that. One of the times it was it was October 28th. Just since we're on the topic of this deer, so I was hunting a deer called Switchblade, and he has the exact same frame as that 6-pointer, and we were hunting down below some bedding, October 28th, and Ronnie's behind the camera, and there's footage of me absolutely freaking out because I thought it was Switchblade. It's the first time I ever seen this deer. You know, I'm freaking out. This is my target buck, and he picks his head up out of the brush, and it's this 6-pointer, and that's the first time we saw him. And then that night, you posted that picture of it. Yeah. I'm like, dude, we literally just saw that deer like 6 hours ago. Like, it was just mind-blowing how far he had traveled in the matter of hours.
He did it back and forth for a couple days, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely open up their home range.
Yep.
That Lizard Creek, man, that thing is...
It's a highway.
You don't even need a section of woods. You could have a half-acre section of woods or just even a piece of grass and one tree out right along Lizard Creek, and you got a chance at killing something during the rut.
Pretty much.
If you're in between the sections of woods or depending on where you are at, but...
How about deadheads?
Yeah.
Have you found many deadheads?
That's another thing I want to bring up because I just got done. So I found 2 deadheads this year, and after I found them, I obviously took them back to the truck. I'm going to recommend everyone don't do that. Yeah. Call the DNR right away because I was under the impression that you took them back to your truck and then called DNR and then, they gave you their permission to leave. They'll meet up with you later, or they'll come out there and write you the tickets right then and there. No, you need to call them before you even touch the head.
Yep.
Don't even take a picture of it. Just call DNR, tell them, and then that way they'll tell you, yes, send me a picture of the carcass right there in the head, and then I'll meet up with you later. More or less, they're going to meet up with you later to give you tags. But I guess another thing I should have been more educated on. I tend to get in my head a little at times, but yeah. Other than that, there's been a lot of people around me that have been finding deadheads.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, I don't necessarily think it was EHD. A lot of the pictures I seen from people were just carcasses, like there was nothing left, so it's not like they could do an investigation on what it
Right.
was, but maybe just the shotgun hunters took a toll on them. I don't know.
Surprisingly didn't find a single dead head, at least in shed season this year. I found, I was taking a youth hunter, Emily, this year, and in youth season we were targeting this really, really old buck. We had several photos of him, or several years of photos of him. Found some sheds off of him. This is again on that 4-acre piece, and we assumed he's probably 7-8 years old. And I went down to check the cuddy back one day, and he was laying dead in front of it, 15 feet in front of it, laying dead right in the plot. And I called the DNR, and he had no bullet holes on him. He asked for a bunch of pictures of him, sent him a whole bunch of pictures. Then he asked me to open up the chest cavity, and sure enough, it had a bunch of blood clotting looking things on the inside of the carcass. It's just like blotching, and that's EHD.
Really?
So, yep, there was an
This was
outbreak
last
of
year?
it. This was this fall.
This fall?
This late September. I think it was like the last day of September when I found him. But
So you did have a case around here then.
Yep.
I mean, it was obviously around. It's just maybe that's what them other deer were that people have been finding, the ones even I found.
yep, it was that farm. It was just about 25 miles south of town, and then south of there was 5 more cases on all different farms. So there were 6 cases total this fall that I know of in this area, which is strange because I've never heard of it hardly around here. You get more in the higher populated deer areas. It's a little more common to see an outbreak go crazy, but
Right.
I'm not used to seeing it around here. So it was a first
No.
for me, and it sucked because I really, really, really wanted to get her on that deer because it was a super, super cool deer, but
Right.
she ended up with another nice deer, so.
Yeah, I over in Nebraska, the lease we had over there, it's a lot of cattle pasture, and we trying to think what we got up to. About 9. There was 9 dead floating in the ponds, the cow ponds, and there was no bullet holes or nothing. We didn't touch them. We obviously called DNR, told DNR what lands they were on and where they were at, but the EHD was horrible up there this year in that area. But
That sucks. It takes a toll on a herd, that's for sure.
another thing I was going to say, you keep mentioning that 4-acre piece. I was just watching the Deer Society the other day, and they killed 180-inch plus deer off of 1 acre.
Oh yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everyone overlooks some pieces of land
100%.
as far as, oh, they're too little, or oh, I don't like that. Well, how do you know until you actually go do some research? Put a trail camera up,
Yep.
walk it, sit and scout. I mean, there's a lot to a successful hunt. People just think, I don't know. There's like jealousy, and then there's like, however people want to believe it, I guess, as far as jealousy goes on people killing mature deer, big deer in general every year, when they don't see the little things as far as the amount of work you've put in, as shed hunting, the scouting, the sitting out there for 6 hours watching that deer get up out of the beans and eat for a little bit and bed back down and try to get footage of them and all that. So, but it all plays a factor into some success. So
Yeah, and on the shed hunting topic, that can tell so much about a deer. It can tell their behavior. It can tell where they're at.
Yep.
Why they're there.
Yep.
Once you find a deer's antler, especially if you've been watching them and you kind of know their attitude and where they live, and kind of learn everything about them. The missing piece of the puzzle is normally where their antlers are.
yeah,
One of the deer I have on the deer I killed this year, I didn't find the shed very far from where I killed him. Probably 400 or 500 yards. Same thing for the deer I killed before him. They're all within a couple hundred yards of where I've even killed the deer. So
yeah,
it really kind of narrows down to a home range, so that way you're not going in places you shouldn't if you're specifically hunting a specific deer, like I have been. So it definitely tells you the missing pieces, the puzzles, and helps you get better odds in the fall.
Mm-hmm. And it just puts a little icing on the story too. I mean, you got repeated years of sheds that you found from that deer. Obviously, by doing that, you're still gaining more knowledge as far as up to the harvest of him. Mm-hmm. And when it comes harvest time, it makes it that much more emotional.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, you sat there, you've watched that deer on trail camera, you've watched him in person, you've passed him, shed hunted. I mean, you literally stepped into his home,
yep,
got in his face, and you came on top, and the emotions that brings is just unreal.
Yeah, and to be able to compare sheds year to year is absolutely cool.
Yeah, it's sweet. Yeah, what they put on, how many inches they put on, the mass they grow, the little kickers here and there, all that. And it's funny, they keep the same structure.
Always.
Unless they got an injury.
Yep.
So, well, I think that'll do it for this show. Hey, if you're still here, I appreciate you guys tuning into this episode. Like I said, this was just more or less just to relay some information. That's what this whole podcast is about, bringing new people on. Zach's had a lot of success over the past few years of finding a lot of good sheds, harvesting a few mature deer. And I wanted to sit here and chat and tell you guys, the success we've had and where we look and how we approach. Obviously, each land, each state, it's all different. But I hope some of the tactics maybe you can use you didn't know about, new hunters. Hopefully this helps you guys out with some more success. But like I said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Whatever podcast platform you guys like to listen on, I hope you subscribe. I love doing podcasts like this where I can bring people on, and we pretty much, we're not sitting here trying to tell you what to do. We're just kind of giving pointers on the success we've had. I'm also going to provide a link to Brayton Clark's YouTube video that they came out with. Him, Zach, Ronnie, and Brian all went on a shed hunt. It's a really cool video. I'll provide the link. You guys can click into that. Give that a watch too. Like I said, appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope I can catch you guys on the next podcast. Like I said, slide up. I want to hear some ideas as far as bringing people on or what topics to talk about. That's what it's all about. It's just gaining more knowledge, and we're all learning every day. So I'll catch you on the next one.